For this problem, we have a clothing retailer that purchases a holiday sweater. They pay $8 per sweater, and they need to apply a 20% markup to cover the operating expenses. But then they decide to also additionally add on 60% for a markup to make a profit. For part A, let's determine both the selling price and the break-even point for the sweater. So I'm going to start with the break-even point. This is going to be the amount of money that will cover the cost of the sweater, but also the operating expenses. So I'm going to take my $8, and to apply a 20% markup, you could do this in two steps: multiply by 20% and add that amount back into the $8. But you can do it in one step as well if you multiply by 1.20 instead of just 0.20. So I'm going to do this in a calculator, and I get that the break-even point is going to be $9.60. Now, if you want to figure out the selling price, so what we're going to do for that is take the 20%, and we're going to add in the 60% markup in order to make a profit to arrive at 80%. Okay, I'm now going to take that amount and multiply it to $8 as 1.80. If I do that, I get that the selling price is $14.40. So that will be our selling price. All right, for part B, so we have that, well, unfortunately, this sweater does not sell very well. Maybe it's just a little bit too festive for the holidays. And so they decide to, okay, I think if we reduce the price, this selling price, by $5, maybe then we'll actually be able to sell some of these things. So what we're going to do is take that selling price of $14.40, and we're going to subtract off $5. Okay, and this takes us to a brand new selling price of $9.40. And the thing to point out is that this is less than the break-even point. So, I mean, this does represent a loss. Now, it hasn't dropped so low that it's going below the amount that was paid per each sweater. So this is actually cutting into the operating expenses. So for this reason, we have an operating loss. So we are less than the break even, which means we are losing money, but it's not a total loss at this point. Now, if we check out part C, so this $5 reduction wasn't good enough and sales don't improve, in fact, past the holiday season. So at this point, they're like, okay, let's look at that original selling price and now decrease that by $10. Maybe they will sell if they are set at this brand new amount. So we're dropping the price to $4.40. So this is less than the break-even point, so it is an operating loss, but more specifically, it's less than the $8 that was paid per sweater. So in this sense, since we're less than the amount we paid per sweater, I'm going to say that this is an absolute loss.